guys, welcome back to another episode of Skillset Live. My name is Jason Swore, the editor of Skillset Magazine. Of course, you knew that. And of course, right next to me, I have my co-host and assistant editor. What else I got for you, Ben? Engineer today.
Cool.
Everything, right? Mr. Ben Turpak, baby.
I like that.
How you doing, man?
I need 2 more heads to wear the other hats.
Yeah.
How about that?
God, I don't have any hats. That's crazy.
How about that?
I put all this work on you, man. I'm sorry, man. So, hey, we're huge fans of, I guess, supporting the alpha lifestyle. And what's another thing we love to is strong, powerful, independent women, and those that lead that alpha lifestyle. And whenever
Absolutely.
we get a chance to showcase these people, I'm all about it. And today is no different. In fact, today I'm really excited for who we have on the phone today, man. So we should just get into it.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Why
Let's
waste
do it.
time? So, guys, on the phone, we have a singer-songwriter. She's a former member of the Pussycat Doll, a political ambassador, and a huge 2A supporter, which, that rings deep with me. So,
Sure.
Yes, we're talking with Miss Kaya Jones. How you doing, Kaya?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good. We caught you heading back to Vegas, I believe, right, from L.A., and so, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, because I hope your listeners can hear me okay and it's not annoying, but we've come off the road for a little bit. We'll probably hop back on the road in a second, but yeah, everything's been good.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been had a pretty busy last week. You were at the March for a Rights rally in L.A., and then I think I caught you at the seen you at Terran Tactical with Amy Robbins and a few others, and that sounds like a fun week you just had.
Yeah, with Vegas Gun Girl. Amy and Vegas are my best friends, so it's,
okay.
it's just trouble when we get together.
I bet.
And a lot of fun. But yeah, we did the march. We did stuff with Terran. We did stuff with Alexa Athletica with Amy, and then we went to Disneyland and had some fun there.
Nice.
So yeah.
Wow. All right. I'm a little bit jealous. So we're over here in Phoenix. Well, we had Ben. We had some dust storms. So that was fun.
We had a little bit of those crazy like monsoon storms.
Yeah. That's about the most excitement we got going on.
No doubt.
But okay. So look, I have to be a little bit honest. You were never really on my radar until a year or so ago, and let me explain why. I'm a Marine, 20-year Marine. I'm a punk rock fan, so I'm sure you understand that Pussycat Dolls weren't really on my playlist as I was heading into Iraq, or whatever. But you've definitely popped on my radars lately, and I've been immediately interested and intrigued on what you're doing, and it's I love it, and we're gonna get into all that and everything, but and here's my question. So looking through your social media feed, as I started to learn about you and trying to study, and you were, in that mix, that Hollywood music scene mix up to, and then up to about the 2016 time frame, there wasn't much political stuff. I mean, you did a little bit of hey, pro-gay rights is great, pro-animal rights is great, all that stuff is great. But then all of a sudden something happened in your life, I think, where you became very outspoken about your political beliefs. So what sparked all this political activism? Oh God, I couldn't say the word. Activism. Sorry about that. What started all this?
I feel like I need to go back a bit. So, by the way, I actually was signed to Capitol before I joined the Dolls as a punk rock artist. So Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols named me.
Oh.
Because Kaya Jones is not my real name.
Yes.
It's my music name. So I enjoy punk rock as well, and I totally understand why you didn't have the Pussycat Dolls on your radar.
Sorry.
We were very,
yeah,
we were, bubblegum. No, I've always been pro-military. Of course, I supported the LGBT community because that was a big, big following for the Dolls, big following for me. And I just, I'm very human rights oriented when it comes to my views. But, I was sick of being in a bubble of Hollywood and never telling people what I'm about.
Right.
Never actually being like, I'm a conservative and I'm doing and living in a way that's just not really who I am. And I'm projecting this to my fans, and I'm not connecting with my fans the way that I need to be. And I need to be honest because I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I just kind of hit a sick of it wall where you're just like, I don't care anymore. It was kind of like, I don't care anymore. I know it was true. It was kind of like, I just don't care. I supported Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump. I was really upset that I could never tell anyone in Hollywood that I did, because every time I tried to discuss, when they were literally running and doing the debates, I would constantly be belittled and bashed in the group of friends I had.
Right.
So I just kind of had to quiet my views. And finally, after him winning, I was just like, I don't got to quiet this. I'm a big Trump supporter.
Sure.
I love him.
Yeah.
And I just came out with it. And that led to a lot of people wanting to know, really, what are you about? I was on Tommy Laren's last show with The Blaze, and Tommy and I become friends. But, of course, Tommy was like, what are you about? And I was like, I love Jesus, too. Here we go. You want to really know? Let's go. So it was just kind of like, I love Trump. I love Jesus. You know what I mean? It was like, boom, boom, boom. People were like, whoa, what's going on? And I was like, but this is who I am. I've never been able to say it because we're not condoned to be honest in Hollywood with our political views. It's keep it no, don't say anything at all. And if you are, you have to be a giant lefty.
Right.
And a lot of Hollywood isn't. Unfortunately, we don't get the opportunities to talk about our views, our faith, or our beliefs. And then I was at, Route 91. I've had a home invasion when I was 12 years old where I was pistol whipped in the head because the gun jammed.
Right.
They were trying to shoot me in the face.
Jesus.
That didn't turn me into a gun person. I went over to Iraq in 2009 to do 20 shows in 10 days for our military with MWR. And I loved shooting. And again, but I didn't go home and buy a gun. And I would go out to the range, rent guns. But after the abuse that I endured in the industry of entertainment and feeling like women need to be more empowered, and then Route 91 and only one handgun, which was John Rich's handgun, being present with 70 of us bunkered down in a bar, I was like, these aren't real cowboys. These are guys wearing costumes. Like, how do none of you guys have a gun? Right. And it just made, I'm being serious. I was really pissed.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
And I just was like, you know what? This is never going to happen to me again. That feeling of helplessness. And, we didn't know if there was more than one shooter. We didn't know if someone with, an AR was going to come through the door. And it's an automatic at that point. Like, good luck with your pistol. I mean, it's a joke. And I just felt like I want to be aware. And then I got ISIS death threats, of course, for talking about guns and talking about Jesus. And I was like, well, now I need to train.
Sure.
And so then I immediately went into, gunning up and getting involved with every person that I respect, and that's a brother to me, whether I've met them in the past or I'd met them in the current. I wanted to train. And so from field guys to rangers to snipe, every which angle I've trained. I mean, next week me and Vegas are going to train with SWAT, so we just go and we train. We love it. So
and I love that. Yeah, and we're obviously we're huge fans of you, and of course a giant fan of women arming themselves. And that's something that not only women but everybody arming themselves, because a couple things. In these days and a day and age, you kind of need to be, and then two, it's our constitutional rights, of course. I mean, we don't need to, we're all on the same team on that one for sure. And I like what you're doing, Kai. I'm really we're watching, and I've been immersed in this industry, the gun industry, for a long time, especially on the media side of it, and it's weird because a lot of times you'll have a beautiful woman, and that's a compliment, by the way, I'm throwing at you there. It's that's
thank you.
Of course. I wasn't fishing for a thank you back, but I was just saying.
I will take it. Thank you.
But a lot of them that will go out and start shooting or taking pictures with guns, and they get labeled as a gun bunny, and where you got to know this person. And I hate to see you ever fall into that category, because I know what you're doing. Once again, I wouldn't be talking to you if you were a gun bunny, and I'm not saying.
No, I mean, I'm contemplating joining the military, so I think that's far from.
Yeah, and that's why I get, and that's why I think getting more photos of you out there, actually sweat, blood, and tears out there training and getting it in from top instructors like your Buck Doyles and your Mike Panones, Travis Haley's, and stuff like that. I think it will help build. And don't get me wrong, I know you're down at Terran Tactical, which Terran's great, and well,
Terran, we just did some shooting that day, but I trained with Dom Ross over at Dynamis, and
Dom
done
Ross,
things with Terry Guard and Jeff Houston. So we've trained with some good guys.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great if you became an instructor, NRA instructor, and then that would shut up the trolls, because God forbid there's no shortage of those out there, and well, and
they service, when you're talking about women, those kinds of individuals, or the way that it's depicted, they do serve a purpose as well.
Sure.
But that for me is not what I am about, or where I'm going. I feel like there's not enough entertainers that are talking about real empowerment.
Yeah.
they're just, they think wearing a pin in a black dress that looks slutty on the red carpet is somehow empowering girls around the country that have been abused.
Sure.
And it's like, not really, guys. Like, teaching women how to defend themselves hand-to-hand, knife training, rifle training, pistol training, that's actually giving them some tools that, I don't think I would want to mess with a girl if you knew she had those kind of skills, especially if you're talking about a guy who's a predator.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for me, it's constantly just showing what I'm about and the growth and the learning process for me in this journey that has become my life. Because if you said a year ago I was going to be doing this, I would have said, heck no.
Sure.
No way. I also didn't think I was going to be at Route 91.
Right.
But as a survivor of Route 91, I went the other direction, which is a lot of people go to the, oh my gosh, I hate firearms. And for me, it was like, no, I want to know everything about it because this is not going to happen to me again.
And that's something that and that's why I really like you, because being a victim of two instances of gun violence, one more intimate than the other. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Vegas thing was tragic and everything, but when you're saying you're 12 and you're getting pistol whipped, Jesus, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I have scars on my head from where I had to have 19 staples put into my head to hold my.
And that would normally turn a lot of people away from guns and be anti-gun and all that stuff. But you're smarter than that. And I think that's why I want to point out to our fans, it would have been easy for you to think, oh, no, guns are bad, it's killing all these people. But people want to kill people no matter what, whether it's a knife, a bus, a bomb, or throwing acid in their faces over in England. And a great example was a video. God, I can't remember what state it was in, but it's a recent video. I know you've seen it, where that guy came in the back of a restaurant and just laid out one of the cooks, and then he was going for the second one. I'm sure you've seen this, and she pulled out a concealed carry pistol, and that dude stopped dead in his tracks because he knew she meant business, and he could possibly end her life. I don't know if they caught that guy yet. I hope they did, because don't get me started on people like that.
I believe they did. They did.
Good. Okay. But that shows you the power. There's no way in hell that woman, the second woman, could have defended herself from that guy beating her to a pulp like he had intentions of. And that little $300 pistol or whatever she was carrying came out and became the great equalizer, I call it,
Yeah.
No one wants to take someone else's life.
Sure, that's the last thing anyone ever wants to do.
But
no
one wants to die by the hands of somebody who's just a lunatic either.
Yeah. Let me do this real fast, Kaya. I think as we're kind of getting way ahead of some of the topics I know we want to talk about, I want to take it all the way back to where you said you first came out and kind of broke on the blaze. That, like, how good did it feel to finally come? You've been in this environment growing up in Hollywood, dealing with it. How good did it make you feel, like, that day, the next day you woke up, Kaya's in your bed or wherever you were, and you're able to breathe that first, like, clean, fresh breath of air, where for once in your life you were able to say exactly how you felt?
Right.
Was that a great feeling?
No.
Tell me what that was like.
It was amazing. Actually, it was that night. It wasn't even a full day. I immediately was receiving hate and love, but the love was just so beautiful to read, from 12, 13, 14 years old. I'm LGBT. I'm conservative. I love Jesus. Thank you for making me feel like I'm not alone.
Right.
Like, those kinds of messages that just are so impactful that you're just like, wow, like, this is why I needed to say what I'm about, because it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than, and I think that's what everyone doesn't understand when they bash our POTUS. Those of us that support him and respect him and voted for him, it's a movement. It's a cultural movement of what we have felt suppressed in our beliefs and not feeling that the country was moving in the right direction. And to finally be able to say out loud, this is who I am, it's very freeing. It's very empowering. I mean, with the blaze, when I said it, I remember the heat that ran through my body when I said, I pray to Jesus and I loved you. It was the first time I've actually said that on camera, on anything, where I didn't say, oh, I love God. Now, I've always done that, and I've always posted things about God, but it's very different to then specify your God.
Sure.
To explain, like, this is who I serve. This is what I'm about. That'll freak people out, especially if they're not about that. They're like, whoa. And I just remember in that moment going, there's no backward now. This is all forward. I've planted my feet, which is what people don't want you to ever do. They want you to kind of dance around what you are. Yeah. And now I just need to keep going. And so that's kind of why the journey has been this evolving journey. And so I want people to see what, was a weaker girl, or I wouldn't say weaker, but I would say the victim who's become a survivor now of all of this pain and anguish and things, where you start to go, I can be stronger. And whatever you fear, my mom is like to me, she's like a serious warrior woman. She's a hunter, 3rd degree black belt, crazy, amazing woman. But she's always said to me, whatever you fear, you face, because then it's behind you. And it's like, so all the things that I have had fears of not being accepted, fears of you won't like me, especially because what I do, you have to appease everybody. Fear of, rejection, fear of guns, fear of, predators, fear of all of those things this past year has been, face it, learn everything you can about guns, learn everything you can about politics, because you're passionate about it. And I really do respect and love our POTUS, so I need to learn as much as I can, so when I'm in these positions of debating people, I'm not just shunned again, and I can actually bring facts to the table.
And I think that's so important, because it's, we live in the land of the free, right? We say, but are we really? Because it's, the fact,
not really.
The fact that you are.
If I have to march for our 2A rights, it's safe to say we don't have them as much as we think we do.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Even with you coming out and saying, I love Jesus, which. How that has become controversial.
It sure has, yeah.
I loved how who was it? Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt recently
came out, during on stage. I don't even remember what awards it was.
Oh, it was amazing.
And said that.
Said what he said.
During that whole speech, obviously I didn't catch it live because I don't watch those things. But
you weren't up on the MTV that night.
No, I'm sorry. I watched the audience. I watched the people behind him, and when he started speaking about God and all that stuff, and just watching their faces, going, how taboo that was. Yeah. And I'm like, is this what we became? You kidding me? Look at this. What is wrong with this?
Unfortunately, we live in a really demonic world right now.
Yeah.
I was in it in Hollywood. It's super wrong. You can do everything wrong, and I mean the worst of the worst, whether it's you're treating yourself that way or you're treating others that way, and it's glorified. It's do it.
Yeah.
Literally, I've had people say to me when I said why I was leaving the dolls, I'll leave some of the famous names, nameless people. I guarantee you guys have their records. Guarantee, most of America supports some of these individuals, and literally look at me and go, but you can be famous. Why would you do that? Just do it.
Right.
Literally, that's the mindset.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that, for him to come out and say what he said in a room full of vultures that would sell their mother to be famous.
Yeah. Wow.
They have no scruples about them. That's what you need to understand. It's there is no scruples about it. There's no honor. There's none of that. Okay. So for him to say that in that room, and the way that he did it was awesome, because he told funny jokes about pooping and this, and, in between his 9 rules, right?
Yeah.
So it was I'm going to punch you with something heartfelt, and then I'll punch you with a joke, and then punch you with heartfelt and punch you with a joke. And that's the only way he could have gotten away with it, because I can guarantee, had it been the other way where he just stated what he was about,
right,
he probably would have been cut out by commercial. We have to go to a commercial break.
Yeah. No, it was smart. It's very smart how he did it. And I love that he did it. And it's we've had.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and we've had celebs on here before, and actors. I don't want to speak for, say, Michael Rooker. Where he's a good friend of ours, but he, he told us there's a narrative that you have to follow, and the second you don't, you come off the list. And this is his words exactly. You know, Michael Rooker loves guns. He loves America. He loves this, but he lives, and works in California, and it's tough for him. Hence why he comes out here all the time and hangs out with us, because we have tons of freedom and guns. But it's sad that's the case, and I don't understand. Why so many Hollywood elite, why are they so incredibly brainwashed? Not talking about just hating Trump. Fine, you don't like Trump, that's whatever. But just wanting socialism, wanting open borders. Stuff that's going to destroy America. What is it? Why are they so brainwashed on this?
I really don't think it's, they're getting their information from Facebook or the local bar. They're in their own world and in their own bubble. fame is a very weird thing, and it's hype that doesn't exist. Okay, it's not real. I know that.
Sure.
Most of them know that. We have people that create it. We create it. We're influential. We understand that we can curate mind and thought. You're aware of your job, but at the same time, you're around people that tell you yes all day long.
Yeah.
The way that we're treated. I mean, everything is like you're better than everyone else. Keep everyone there. You're here. You're on this, pedestal, and just like everyone that is underneath you. And you have this thought like somehow that you're smarter, better, better. Who cares what everyone else thinks. But there is a moment where you have to I'm saying you have to have a come into Jesus moment where you're like, who am I?
Yeah.
And what have I become?
Right.
Because, well, for me, I had that where it was like, what have I become? Because I'm human like everybody else. There's no one because of a race, religion, color, creed that's better than I or me, them. I mean, we're supposed to be like humble with this ability to influence all of these kids and people. And what are we doing?
Right.
There was a moment for me. I don't know where they don't see what they're doing is really wrong or how they're talking about individuals. I mean, some of the things that they've said about our president or the first, children. I mean, it's just horrible. It's like there's no couth or class. Yet they're upset, at the other side for when we defend ourselves or when we have to stand up for our rights because our rights are being infringed.
Right.
And, we're in the middle of a discussion. We won an election to be able to have a discussion of, hey, can you see it from our side? And they don't even want to have the discussion. But we that's what we really want because we're just trying to pull back. And this is another thing that's hilarious to me is when they talk about these executive orders, he signs these executive orders. It's like, well, the only reason why he can sign those executive orders is because the last guy did an executive order. He can't just bypass, the House and the Senate, but they don't understand that. They don't understand that we had someone in the office who conducted things a certain way. And so, we have a guy that's rolling it back because he's trying to get America back to what we are about and what our core values are about. And we love immigration. We love people coming here the right way.
Yeah.
The right way means applying and becoming a citizen and putting your hand over your heart and aware of that flag now represents you.
Right. They don't realize. Look at it. Trump's wife. Last time I checked, she wasn't born here in America. And so how do you think he hates immigrants when he has his own family are immigrants? And, and it just the violence that they're inciting and it's just ridiculous every day. I mean it kills me. I mean, do you think? I mean, this is honest, and I want your honest opinion on this. Do you think we're heading to like a civil war?
I would say they're trying to. I mean, if we don't see that they're trying to create it, we're not paying attention. I mean, when you're pitching narratives every day on 90% of media, 90% of media is pitching a narrative that the sky is falling, it's Chicken Little. This guy's going to take us to World War III.
Yep.
He's a racist. He's a xenophobe. He's a homophobe. He's an Islamophobe. He's a this. He's a that. You're starting to create tension where there's no tension.
Sure.
There's none. Okay. To be at racial division that we are at right now, where you can go to your grocery store and if you're white or you're black and you spot one another, you're thinking, does he hate me?
Right.
That's horrible.
It is
horrible. Horrible that this is what's going on right now in our country. So to think that we just had a half black, half white POTUS and we're at the worst racial division ever,
right?
Something's wrong. And that is where we need to pay attention because to me, what they are trying to do is create a war for sure.
Right.
The narrative is being pitched to the world. The world is seeing what's going on. They're watching how insane we look. I don't even think they realize what they're perpetuating to the world is insane, insane, insane. He's bad, he's bad, he's bad. It's almost like, well, someone started a war with him so that we have another reason to say, see, he's not fit.
Yeah.
They hate him. They hate him because he wanted to just bring honor and real love back into a system that has been broken for a long time. It's not just Obama. It's not just the Bush. It's not just, Clinton. This goes all the way back. And he's trying to put pieces together I think he couldn't have been a better person to do this because he's not from the swamp. He's not from the political arena.
Correct.
I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, and I'm really not going to do any of it. He's coming from a place of philanthropy where it's like, I've made a lot of money. I don't need this. And this is wrong. And he spoke to our hearts when he could just say the truth. That's why people don't understand. We felt it. We used to say it privately in our homes or to our friends and feel like, are we crazy? Why we feel this way, or why the country is looking crazier and crazier? And it's nice to know, hey, you're not crazy. I feel it too.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel it too. And majority of Americans feel it. I don't think that America hates each other, or as Americans we hate each other, but I think what's happening, and then when you put out movies like The Purge, election year,
right.
The Purge, it's like, are you trying to say we should start purging each other? What is wrong with you?
Well, that was where I was going at. I mean, it's so Hollywood and on their pedestal and their little soapbox, they're putting out obviously anti-conservative, anti-Republican films.
Look at House of Cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at House of Cards. Look at the narrative. The flag is upside down.
Right.
Are you joking?
Yeah, I know.
Are you serious? Like, wait. Why does, but think about it, biblically we've heard, you'll be persecuted. There will be a time where you talk about being a Christian and you're not going to be liked. And we're the fastest, literally in depleting when it comes to Christianity, and that are persecuted on a daily basis from bombing,
for sure,
all over the world. And I, last year when I came out and I started talking about Coptic Christians and started really talking about the details of what was going on, especially because of the bombing that happened in Alexandria on Easter.
Right.
So it was right before Easter, I believe. This is something that's really real, and I think what we don't understand is the cultural things that Hollywood are doing because we control the narrative is wrong, and you're setting the country and the world on a horrible course because you get what you give, and you're supposed to give and receive, and what you're sending out is war and hatred.
Big time.
There's nothing good about it.
And if you don't, I mean, look, I've been vocal about this. We don't talk a lot of politics on our shows, but I've been vocal that I wasn't a fan of Obama. But did you see me burning down my Starbucks?
I wasn't either.
Yeah, did you see me writing and holding up Obama's head on, in our magazine? I didn't do any of that because you know why? He was an elected official. He was elected. I guess the majority wanted him in office, and I respected that position. All right, and I dealt with it for 8 years. I dealt with it 8 years, and I wasn't screaming. I'm like, you shake your head like, oh, I don't think this is the right idea. But I was still, when it come down to, hey, we're in a fight. I'm behind our president, and that's all I ask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't understand why, why that you're trying to destroy America just because you don't like a guy, a person, that was elected majority. Elected into this office. It wasn't like he was born into it. I always say I love it because I'm once again I'm my punk rock roots. I always say Trump was punk rock. And people are like, how do you? He's the man. I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
He was so anti-establishment. He bucked the system. He was never.
Big time.
He's not a career politician.
Right.
The dude. He's been down in the dumps and back up in the. He's been bankrupt back and forth. He knows how to build, and he's a leader. And is he arrogant? Of course he's arrogant. Whatever. Who cares? I mean, who isn't arrogant or who doesn't have a character flaw that, well, I don't even call it a flaw, but people, it may rub someone wrong. But the fact that his goal, at least he's putting out there and what he's done in the past year and a half is trying to do, well, I guess it's the whole MAGA thing. Make America great, right? Put us first. And what is wrong with loving your country? It's the whole, I always laugh at it's like patriotism is not a crime. I hate to use that old. I like that actually. What am I saying? But anyway, but it's what I'm saying. But it seems like to love my country now, it puts me in a class of people that are.
You're one of the bad ones.
That could get me beat up,
That's
right?
right?
Have a dude come behind me and smash me in the face with something because I love my country. What is wrong with that? I don't see what is wrong. Why is that such a bad thing?
Well, we had someone in power that didn't love the country, and he went on a apology tour around the world.
Yeah.
Which is just a slap in the face to anyone who's served or lost anyone to any of the wars we've been to.
Sure.
Because what was the purpose and what was the reason? If you're going to go apologize for things that, we have to do.
Right.
War is a necessary thing. It's not something I think anyone wants to go do, but it's a necessary evil. And the reason for it is to keep freedoms in this country free and to be able to provide for our individuals and people, not only here, but worldwide.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's a really horrible narrative that we had, so much so it's trickled to the people where people don't like their country. They don't like America. They think that America stands for, and there was a time where people were proud to be American. Now, because of the lost person, they feel shame or they don't like America. They want to turn everything upside down, like the flag, and not stand for the anthem. And it's like, are you guys lost your mind?
Yeah. No,
you officially lost your mind. And the indoctrinating of, let me hold up a severed head. First of all, there's so many levels to that being wrong. Yeah. I don't, Kathy Griffin, she's a nut, but the photographer, even crazy to come up with this concept.
He's to blame
because what you're showing, you're glorifying terrorism.
Right.
You're glorifying people that we've gone to war with that kill their own people.
Yep.
Yeah,
that do the most horrific things to other human beings.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's glorify it and make it funny to our commander-in-chief, which, by the way, he's the boss of the country, and our military, they all work under him.
Sure.
So when people are like, oh, is the military like, is it like 80-20? Is it like 60-40? Understand this. It's the military serves the POTUS.
Yeah.
He's the CEO of our military.
Commander-in-chief, absolutely. Yep.
Guaranteed. So when people are confused as to where military stands, it's like, and military is great about this because they serve under whichever POTUS they have, and they honor. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter whether they voted for him or not. This is my guy, and I got to, do what he says and support what he wants to do, and just keep a level head about things. Yep. And it's really gross, but this is the narrative that Hollywood's perpetuating, and our culture is kind of fueling and fanning the flame of. That's somehow okay to show, or Snoop Dogg can put a pistol to a Trump lookalike in his video, or Eminem can kill Ivanka in his music video.
Right.
And, then you have Henry Fonda saying, oh, that they're in Trump. And I'm thinking, wait. How are all of these people getting away with literally throwing out attacks to the point where would we be surprised if things start happening? I mean, look what happened to Scalise. Like, sure. You are now, saying, like, somehow they deserve it. When Route 91 happened, I was on Sean Hannity's show. The entire week I was co-hosting with Sean. And we were on there, and Sean said, well, you should see some of the stuff we're getting in. People are saying you guys deserve to be shot at because, it was a country festival. Yeah.
Jesus.
The country festival. And, there must be a lot of Trump supporters there. And I got so mad on that specific show with him. I said, let me get this straight, Sean. So because we voted for Trump, we deserve to die?
Yeah.
Like, is that what you're saying? Because if that's what the narrative is if this is what people are feeling, or this is what CNN is pushing the narrative to be, or MSNBC, or any of these guys, if this is what they're pushing, we really need to be careful because there are crazies all over this country and all over the world. I mean, you're just basically giving them a reason to go do something, and you're glorifying it like we would enjoy that and thank you, be a hero for us. It's sick.
Yeah,
it's really sick.
It's such a double standard because let me give you a quick example. I had a obviously I did a lot of time in the Marines, and I had a buddy that during the Obama era, is actually his second term, he got out, and the guy's been shot twice, been blown up, I think 3 times. So he's got a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? Mentally and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was going through a lot. And he would, this is Facebook time or whatever. He jumped on. He was not a fan of Obama, but he did a single post. And I remember this whole thing went down. He did a post that says, I want to kill Obama, ... with kindness. Right. And I remember seeing it and I was like, oh God, what are you doing? Right. He, within 24 hours, was wrapped up by the Secret Service. They took him away and they put him in a mental hospital. Now, granted, he had, he may have, it probably was a good thing that he went to a hospital because he was having troubles. But for 6 months, for just that one single.
Back when we admitted we had mental health problems.
Yeah, exactly. For one single social media post, right? Now, today, if I did that same thing and I just changed Obama with Trump, no one even care. It wouldn't even get banned from Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, why? I was when he did that, just that small thing.
That's because we were a communist, and that's what communism does. Is you don't have rights to freedom of speech, which is what his right was, to say his narrative and nothing to happen. But at the end of the day, communism is where you take those rights away and you end up doing horrible things to your people. Sounds like that's kind of what they did to him.
Yeah, it was and it's, I just hate that double standard and how things have changed. And don't get me wrong, I never endorsed him doing that. I was like, dude, you're
be careful.
You're an idiot.
No, but there's nothing, because what he said was kindness at the end of it. So it was a joke.
It was a joke. But these days, that doesn't even get you banned. Yeah. Because it's okay, because it's fun to bash our president, and it's happening overseas as well. I mean, you've seen what's happening in London with this stupid ass balloon,
parading a blimp around,
right? And it's like, and I get fired up. Once again, I am so patriotic, and I'm so appreciative of what this country is letting me do. And right now on the radio, run a magazine,
absolutely,
and all that stuff. And we talked to dozens of immigrants sitting in this seat right here. Have talked to them, guys who are coming over here, and they tell us the same thing. It's like, look, you guys have it all. This is why we want to be here, and people want to, and it's like, I get it. It's tough to do it the right way, but do it the right way, and it would never be a problem, man. I mean, we want you. We want you here, regardless of what the media is telling you or not. But all we're asking is if you do it the legal way, and then you're the same as me, as Ben, as you. I mean, it's I just don't understand why it's that hard to get that across.
Well, you're helping the nation. You're helping us grow, and it's a beautiful thing to become a citizen when people do it the right way. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, my mother is not an American citizen. She was married to an American. Me and my sisters are American. Oh. But, my mother is an American. My mom won't even break the rules. She stays with me when she comes to visit for 3 months at a time, and then goes back to Canada where she lives. And she's like, I don't want to break the rules. And then they flag my passport.
Sure.
Can't stay longer than a certain amount of time. So my mom is like, I'm like, Mom, like, she's retired. If anyone to me could be breaking the rules, I'm like, here she was married to an American, has American children, and still follows the rules.
Yeah.
So what's their excuse? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. It's just like, just follow the rules. You're better for it.
Yeah.
And,
it helps everybody.
Unfortunately, when you're talking about social media, when I got the ISIS death threats that I received, and they were real, because FBI got involved. Yeah, no one kicked them off of Twitter, nothing like that. Twitter refused to help the FBI. Yeah, this is true. Twitter refused to help the FBI on my case, and then we had to have a federal subpoena then filed to try and get the information. It was actually all of my military buddies that ran the IPs to be able to where they were coming from.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it wasn't even like, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
It was literally like, the military helped me. My military friends were like, I got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm like, what the heck is going on when your social media platforms aren't really concerned about, like, I mean, they sent me photos of women they severed heads off of, and pictures and details of what they wanted to do, and in the name of Sharia on behalf of Muhammad, and the whole name, the whole nine. So to me, it was like, wait, this is pretty serious, guys. Are you worried at all? And it was just kind of like, no, we can't help you. Sorry. And it's like, whoa, okay, so this is normal. I mean, FBI, even said, we get a lot of it because there's a lot of people that if you talk about Jesus or God or certain things, they'll attack you for it, and it's common. And so it's kind of crazy to know that our divisions of, people that do this for a living are not shocked by it anymore. They're just kind of like, yeah, that happens. What can we do? And Twitter doesn't work with us, or Instagram doesn't really work with us. And that's sad, because how do we then protect our citizens who are speaking out or who are vocal about their beliefs? Because that's not freedom if they can't do that without being literally, threatened.
Yeah. And I know this whole social media thing, I know it's a necessity these days. I mean, for business and everything. I mean, it's just become the norm. But it's to me, and I know you thrive off of this, what your platform is Twitter, this and that, but it's painful, man. It is painful to see some of the stuff that gets allowed on that. And I get it. Hey, we don't want to censor, but you are censoring. And I know it especially when it comes to, hey, I want to boost a post about my other company that advertises, I don't say glorified gun. I hate to even say that word glorified, but we have gun culture in that, and we get even Skillset. We get
terms like shadow ban, denied,
censor,
not getting
the
algorithm.
Shadow banned so many times.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's like, and I have never once put anything on social media that is illegal. In fact, everything is guns, Second Amendment. It's 100% illegal. Even the firearm itself was not. There was nothing illegal about it. It wasn't like it was a short barrel rifle and I don't have a permit, or a ticket for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's a case where it's the double standard, and I hate that. And I tend to look at Twitter and Instagram is not as bad, but it will be.
It will be.
Facebook obviously is just so tainted. It's like. And it goes down to that whole fake news narrative. It's like, God, where do we go, man? And and I'm not the only guy asking it. We have, just something like you, friends overseas. We're like, what is going on over there? Because we don't know what to believe. And I'm like, well, if you want to believe me, I'll give it to you straight up, But I swear to God, this is. I try to be as in the middle as possible. I like being an independent thinker. I like doing all that. And even then, it's like I can't put out something that because I get banned or I get not banned. I get censored.
Well, you get shadow banned. Yeah, you're getting censored. Like I was doing a mag loader for ETX, like a tutorial.
Right.
It's a mag loader. There wasn't even like literally like I'm loading up mag. Like that's it. And literally was flagged as sensitive material. It's like, what? I'm loading a mag. I mean, come on now. Like,
I know.
This is ridiculous. Like, but it's true. It's censorship of the highest kind. And, I had a, sponsor who wanted to do like a sponsored post for my page because they had just signed this deal with me. Super excited and was like, okay, we wanted to promote your page.
Right.
And we tried to promote your page and it was flagged as pornographic, my page.
Oh my gosh.
Really? What part? I don't remember.
Crazy because I'm like, wait. I'm on a coalition for a president.
Yeah.
I literally am a recording artist. I like guns.
Sure.
I'm pro-America, but what about anything I posted is pornographic? I mean, yes, I have taken videos and posed in a bikini, but you'll never see me with a bikini and a gun in the same picture.
Yeah, and
like,
why does that have a bikini? What's wrong?
Here?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? So if I go, if I'm on the beach with my swim trunks, and is that pornographic?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what it is. I mean, it's like, come on, and what it is? It's just looking for an excuse to censor you, and that's the way. That's all we need. And I get it, too. And it kills me, man, because I would have a total different tone if these social media outlets were totally not biased, Fine. Now it's an even playing field. We're going to, we got people that hate us and fine. And they want to bash us, the trolls and this and that. But we get to the point where we can't even say what we want to say. And all we're doing is preaching patriotism.
The ridiculous nature of the division that these big companies and these social platforms are trying to put between Americans is just absolutely absurd.
It's frustrating.
It's just ridiculous that it doesn't even exist and they're perpetuating the lie.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's
really gross because it's turning into like you can't, it's the PC culture. You can't do anything or say anything because God forbid, defend someone. But it's like, isn't that the point in order to like debate and learn? You should have a reaction.
Right.
On any chord. But, they don't apparently have any moral compass on that side. Like, let's show a severed head and that's okay. But, oh my gosh, you're loading a magazine? Kaya, you're flagged. It's like, whoa, wait. Why wasn't that picture flagged?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that picture like no outlet wanted to pick it up and they shunned Kathy Griffin? Why didn't that happen?
Exactly.
Because they glorified it. It was like, oh, let's show it. I mean, they ran it for so long that it became a meme. It's gross. It's like, that's not cool, guys. But somehow if you're talking about God or guns or country or military, I mean, my music video last year for What the Heart Don't Know was pro-military.
Yeah.
Kid you not, I had fans screenshotting because my views were going down, not going up. and the minutes of time would go up, but my views were going down.
Yeah.
And so fans were screenshotting going, what are they doing? So I did a call to action because I was even being censored of my followers, their views, which count for monetization, which counts for actual numbers of what we know people are viewing, was being tampered with due to the fact that it was a pro-military video.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, we've had it happen to ourselves here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Even our cover, our last, not the one that's out in stores right now, but the one prior with Michael Rooker. And
I want to be on your guys' cover.
Let's do this.
I gotta like do some really cool stuff for you guys to give me that opportunity.
Yeah. Well,
by the way, I'm a very big fan of your magazine.
Oh, thank you. But it's so funny that I don't know if you saw the one with Michael Rooker where it's a World War II scene, right? That was pulled out of quite a few grocery chains because they were they said it was too violent, and I'm like, wait a minute. First off, there's no blood. It's a war scene. It's a reenactment,
historical recreation.
And by the way, let me go to this next movie poster right next.
Happened.
Yeah, let's go to this movie poster that's got guns and people shooting and people getting killed. That's okay.
No, that's acceptable.
They're okay
that's fine.
that's what's so hilarious. They're okay with it in the movies.
Yeah.
By the way, can they start getting some more like Terran guys in the industry? Because when they don't reload and they just keep shooting, or like the fingers on the trigger the whole time, you're just like, that mag doesn't hold like 19 rounds. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, but they just keep going. You're just like, they never switch back. That's why people love John Wick, because at least we see the transition that an actual shooter would go through, and it's incredible to watch because there is skill in it. And just to see, but Hollywood, they're like, it's okay, let's show a lot of guns in our movies and blow up stuff, but don't talk about violence, guys.
But you know what? I will take the unlimited magazines, I'll take all that any day if we can just bring back pro USA movies like we had in the 80s, right? With your Rambos, your
80s movies were the best.
Right? Thank you.
Yes.
I mean,
they were the best. Bring some Universal Soldier back.
Thank you.
It was a good movie.
Any Chuck Norris movie. I mean, remember how it was every week there was a new one coming out and it was all pro USA.
I know.
It was so nice.
I know. Sly, Sylvester with Rocky.
Yes. all that.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. He wasn't even, he was Belgian. And he was making everyone love America.
I
mean, you know what I mean? Like, it was just amazing. It was such a cool time. Schwarzenegger. I mean, it was just like all of the best guys that were just so.
I miss those.
And also pro-man. Because that's the thing is that, like, I know when you guys were talking about, women and being a bit alpha, but it's like, no, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I don't want to really be alpha, but I want to be able to take care of my, my shit.
Strong.
And take care of anyone that I care. Yeah, be a strong, empowered woman. But I struggle with that because I like guys. I'm single. I still like guys. And I don't want to intimidate a guy where they're like, oh my gosh, she's like works a firearm better than I've never went on a ring once. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, that already takes away half of the men on the market that want to even like say hello to me.
It turns all the guys on though, by the way. So don't.
Real alpha dudes will take care of it.
Guys, but I feel like we need more men to show men how to be like honorable.
Yes, we are
good. Badass man.
Our whole thing with this alpha lifestyle thing was not to like, hey, we're big burly guys beating our
badass. Look at me.
My thing was to combat the beta male movement.
That's right.
All right. So that's
thank God.
Right? Which is the submissive, weird. I can't even explain it. People ask me like explain the beta male movement. I can't. I don't even know what kind of breed of people this is we're putting together these days. So we're like, you know what? Let's create a magazine that I grew up on. I'm a little older. I'm 45, so I've been around a little while, and it's stuff like that I grew up on where it was like it's okay to work with your hands, to be blue collar. It's okay to be manly. It's okay to be proud of your country.
It's great. You're like, I think most women want to hear this, like, because honestly, what's happened is men have become more sensitive than women, where we're like, really? Like, would that offend you? You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of weird. They want like a hang in their baby poster.
Sure.
And, with a kitten on it and, some hot cocoa. But I like hot cocoa. I just think the whole thing is a bit much to safe spaces. I don't get it. I think that men need to be empowered now by more strong men, God-fearing men, country-driven men, like, that show that this is cool to, and grown, strong men do cry and they can be honorable and successful and all of those things, but we don't need to turn them into Sit down like, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, let's all hug.
I know you're bashing me over the head with the baseball bat right now, but I'm sure if we had a conversation, you'd come to find out I'm a really nice guy in a sweater vest.
Exactly. And my safety pin. I know it's frustrating to us, and that's where look, and this is why we started Skillset. It was I went to our publisher, which people think it's a male magazine. I say it's an alpha lifestyle, but it is owned by a female.
That's correct.
And she's a veteran and all that stuff. Her name's Gina Marie. She's amazing. And and her thing was like, hey, go look at the men's intersection and the a book at Barnes and Nobles and tell me what's wrong with it. And I look and I'm like, there's nothing here that represents me or represents Ben or represents you. It's all skinny jeans and don't say anything offensive or something that maybe it may offend somebody or whatever. It's like, why can't we just be us? Where. I just don't get it, and so we come back to that. This is why we have our magazine, and we're doing it, and we're making I don't say we're making a movement, but it's letting people coming out of the woodwork where it's like, oh, I can like magazines again, because
finally there's something that speaks to the masses because most things are not at all. I mean, any of the fashion magazines too for men have turned men into chicks.
Yeah, it's for sure.
And of course turned women into wanting to be like dudes, and it's like, oh wait, I'm still a girl. I still want to be a girl. Yeah. I still love being a woman. There's something so empowering about that. But I want to be a ninja woman, badass. I don't want to be, weak in any form. Definitely Gina, her being a veteran. I mean, there you have it. But it is still about being what you are, which is not trying to turn yourself into another gender because there's only two.
Yes. I agree, 100%.
But that's again a cultural thing. So let's mess with people where they're not sure. I mean,
right.
That's kind of wacky. It's really wacky what's going on.
And it's like, and I've always said it out there out loud to people. I'm like, look, if you're gay, great. I don't care. That's fine. I really don't care. I mean, it does not. You are no different to me than a straight person. But when you start, your kid's 8 years old and you're dressing him, he's a boy, and you dress him like a girl, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Let the natural progression happen. If your son, your daughter, turns gay, okay, great, no big deal. But forcing them, like the first instance that he watches he plays with a Barbie, oh. Okay, he's instantly gay. Let's put him in a women's dress. Let's put makeup, lipstick. I'm like, and it kills me.
There should be an age thing, with the hormones, at least until they're 18 before you can start any kind of hormone replacement stuff. That to me is just
it's child abuse.
Well, I mean, I did a post about it because people are offended about what we're putting into our cows. Right, they're offended, right? Oh my God, you're injecting cows with hormones, but you're okay with injecting children with hormones.
I know. This is the
How
world
does this make sense? So the animal has more rights than a child? Well, apparently they do because they're offended when you kill chickens, but not when you murder babies.
Yeah, I hear you. I know it's the world we live in, and it's so tough right now, and it's like I don't know something.
It's so backward. It's like. I joke all the time. I'm like, Jesus, come already. I joke all the time because it's just like, come on, man. This is getting too much.
I just laughed at. I wish that if you could see an inside look at the military, because I mean, you get a group of guys, and I'll say like a platoon that I was in. It had every race known to man. I mean, every race known to man, and. When we would joke, the black guys would make fun of white guys, back and forth. At the end of the day, no one cared because we all have thick skin and we know we're just playing. Because when the bullets start flying, we're all brothers, And it was just like I wish we could go back to that world because it was so great. Because you didn't have to worry about it. And it's like no one got offensive, no one got racist because we're all equally worthless. We always laughed.
We're all human and respect each other's core values. That's amazing.
I know.
Can I just say something? We're in a bad state when you're going, can we just go back to war where everyone was on the same playing field,
Thank
guys?
you.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
When you're literally referencing the war zone as safer space
it was such a
than
great
the
time.
political climate of America right now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that was deep.
That was an astute observation, Kaya.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of military, you hinted at it. What's all this? Maybe joining? What's going on with that?
So I'm meeting with different recruiters. I'm really looking into it. I'm seriously looking into it because
awesome.
I kind of, I still do music. I love it, but I just think there's no greater honor than serving this country.
Yeah.
All of my family on my dad's side have served. You know, my great grandfather's in Arlington.
Sure.
All of my friends in some fashion, whether it's them or their family, they've served. And the more that I've gotten into learning and training, I'm like, wait, but I could actually help our country. Maybe I could help get young girls into this that look up to me to kind of go, hey, she went from like, you know, literally a Pussycat Doll, which was like tits on toes, turning into like a real warrior woman and showing me that that's a cooler way of going about it. Like I could get little girls into that, wanting to do that. Like that's a better way to serve your country and have a good head on your shoulders and meet really great individuals. And I think our military needs it because we're not having enough people enlist. So I think that it could be a really good thing that I use my platform for the better. And if I can serve this nation in any way, whether I'm scrubbing floors or I'm, you know, working on a boat or I'm, you know, whatever they choose to send me, because I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice, but I do have to see what I qualify for.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm literally 90%. I'm 90%.
Well, I think that's great. So, just even if it doesn't happen, the fact that you have that mentality, and this is why the reason I like, say, Gina Marie, who owns, you know, Skillset, she was a Marine, and she's very girly, right? And I'm always like, Gina, how did you, what Marines? She's from.
Marines are super girly girl.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And she's from San Francisco originally, you know. So I mean, everything was stacked against her to join the Marines. And this is, I'm like, so I asked her, I'm like, Gina, why did you join? You know, especially to join the Marines. And this was her exact quote. She goes, "I wanted to free a man to fight." He goes, she goes, "I'm not made for the battlefield. There is no doubt in my mind." You know, she goes, "I don't want to be that guy on the front line." That, you know, great for those people, girls who want to do that. She goes, "I want to take an administrative job away from a male so he can put a gun in his hand and go fight." And I was like, it was so World War II mentality. I was like, that is brilliant.
I love her.
Yeah, it was great. And then she did 6 years of doing that same thing. And it's like, and it was honorable. And she's like, "I'm not a war hero. I didn't do anything special." But I'm like, no, you did. You did. You took that step. You left the comfort of your home and to do exactly what she said, free a man to fight. And you can't get any more honorable than that, I think. You know. So like I said,
like the most honorable thing I've heard. I mean.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was awesome. So I mean,
oh my goodness.
And the fact that, like I said, you're just considering it. It makes me proud. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, well, that's fine. At least you've already supported the troops by going overseas and doing like USO or whatever tours you've done.
And I did a lot with the VA hospitals too. And I mean, 100% of my proceeds for my anthem go to Chris Pronto's 14th Hour Foundation. So I mean, and
I love that. I think
anything for our military,
And coming from a vet, it's a combat vet of multiple wars. It's it makes me happy, makes me proud, and I say thank you for that support.
Well, thank you. It's the least I can do. You know what I mean? You guys fight, and you know, a lot of your brothers in arms have died for my freedom and your freedom and all of our freedom. So it's not free. So if I can sing songs or tour or help or shake hands or meet or do whatever I can, and especially if I'm able to do any form of serving on a bigger level, I mean, I just think it's such a huge, honorable thing. And what you guys do, I mean, what you've already done I'm so grateful.
Well, I appreciate it, and I say right back at you. So, well, look, we're gonna let you go. I know you got to get working. I don't want to take up all your time. Listen, we applaud you. Kaya, you're not afraid, and we like people that stand up for their beliefs, man. Especially when they're believing in our constitutional rights, and we appreciate that. And listen, do not be a stranger, please. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you're in the Phoenix area. You need to come into the studio. We'll have some fun.
I have to come into the studio, and
let's do it.
I'm talking to someone about coming out and doing a training out there. So this gotta happen.
Then
we've got to figure it out.
We're right in the heart of Phoenix, so bring this down and bring it. You're welcome here all the time, and we'll do a follow-up in the studio and whatnot. So, all right, guys, don't forget, follow her on IG and Twitter. It's Kaya Jones, at Kaya Jones, and Kaya Jones, excuse me, and it's KayaJones.com, right? Yes, I believe it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Kaya Jones. Come follow me.
Yeah, follow her. And like I said, we wish you the best. You're on the front lines, I call it. You know, my days of fighting are over. But you're on the front lines, and you're out there. You're doing the hard stuff, but out there speaking, Kaya, and I appreciate that, and so I'm sure Ben does too here. So be safe on your travels, and please don't be a stranger.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. You guys have an awesome day.
All right, Ben, we good?
We're good, guys.
All right, listen, we're going to wrap this up, so we will see you next week.